Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how to stand out from the 99% of other setters, okay? If you want to get into the top 10%, top 5%, 1%, whatever you want to call it, of appointment setters, and this could also transcend into high ticket closers, then watch this video, okay? Watch it in full, pay attention to what I say, because as you probably know, over the past couple months and even this past year, appointment setting and high ticket sales is the new rave. It's like the new, it's had the drop shipping effect. It's had the Amazon FBA effect. It's like, oh my God, this is the new shiny object. This is what you need to get into. And while I wholeheartedly believe in that, because I'm a living testament. I've earned my stripes, and I'm earning more of my stripes as we speak. Not to say that I'm there yet, but basically what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of people getting into this space now. So you have to be, you have to be attentive to that, and then you have to also find a way to separate yourself from the pack. Because how do you separate yourself from the pack? You get extremely good at the skill comparatively to everyone else, or you just find a different angle towards it. So I'm gonna show you 4 different ways to really separate yourself from the 90% of other setters and really just become the cream that rises to the top. So let's get started. So the first method, or the first way you're going to stand out, and this is actually going to be relating to before you even land a gig. Let's say you don't have a gig right now. So if you don't have a gig, pay attention. The way you're going to stand out and actually land a gig compared to tons of other people who are trying to get into space, break in, trying to land those interviews and trying to get that setter position, is how are you going to grab the attention? How are you actually doing outreach? So I preach a lot all the time, run the numbers and hit massive volume. That's true, but a lot of people are taking that advice and they're hitting massive volume. However, if that's not been working for you, and if you've been at it for a while, then you need to start considering, as I said in the beginning, different angles to approach the business owners. Because these business owners nowadays, before they weren't used to, they weren't getting tons of messages or inquiries about hiring like an appointment setter or a closer, but now they are, okay? Coaches, consultants, agency owners, course sellers, whatever you want to call them, right? They're getting a ton of inquiries now. So you need to find a way to grab their attention in a unique way that no one else or almost no one else is doing. So you can get your foot in the door, and then the rest is history. You build rapport in the DMs, you go back and forth, set up the interview, and then you secure that bag, basically. And one of the ways that I believe is the best way to stand out when doing outreach, click the video up here. It'll show you the most powerful outreach method in 2023, in my opinion, for landing a sales or a setter position, okay? Trumps just DM message, it trumps all the other methods, basically. So click it up here, go check it out now. So the first thing is all about how you're gonna grab attention. That's the first thing. That's before you even have an offer, right? Second thing is, it's pretty obvious. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but whoever does the most volume, whoever works the hardest, basically. Whoever works the hardest is gonna win. Whoever works the hardest, most efficiently, most systemized, they're gonna win. They're gonna run laps around the competition. They're gonna be the top performing setter or closer in the team. Because most people nowadays, they don't have the character traits. Even with appointment setting. Appointment setting should be, and what I see it as, is an entry level, low barrier to entry way to make money or get your foot in the door in the business space, which then you can use to transition to other avenues. You can get into high ticket closing, you can start your own thing, you can start your own business, your own agency, whatnot. You get into investments, anything to get that cash flow in initially, and then you can go do other things. So this should be low barrier to entry. But it's funny how many people just don't have the character traits to make it, right? They're lazy, they have too much of an ego, they have too much of an ego, they're not tracking their numbers, they sound too robotic. I'm gonna get onto that later. They sound too robotic and they just don't know what they're doing. So the way you're gonna stand out from that is by being the hardest worker there. Are you actually sending as many messages as possible? Are you getting in front of as many people as possible? Are you shaking as many hands as possible? Are you doing your follow-ups as you should? Are you, constantly improving the way you message people? Are you actually messaging people? Are you actually booking meetings to start with? Are you actually booking meetings? Are you actually putting qualified calls on the closer's calendar, which then they can close and then everyone wins, right? You'd be surprised how many people don't do that. So all it just comes down to, most of it, just comes down to hard work and running the numbers. So make sure you do that. Make sure you work hard, and 80% of your problems will be solved. The third thing, which I'm going to mention, is what, as I said earlier, being too robotic, right? Your prospects or your leads, they shouldn't feel like they're talking to a VA or an AI, okay? That's the last thing that needs to happen here. So go off of frameworks over scripts. The difference between a framework and a framework is a set of principles and a loose set of rules that, they're set in stone, they work, they're gonna stand the test of time, but you can make changes to them. You can adapt with them, depending on the situation. With a script, you just have to go word for word. And then that's like, what if you get hit with a curveball? What if you get hit with a certain objection? What if you get hit with a certain type of prospect? Then the script goes out the window, it doesn't work. That's why we need to use frameworks over scripts. That's why we need to sound like we're using a framework, and on the other side of that, just like being genuine, keeping it very conversational, keeping it value-led, as opposed to relying on a script and sounding like another bot, okay? Because that's not gonna work nowadays in 2023. I've even had some prospects in my time, like over this past year, this wouldn't have happened. This wouldn't have happened last year or the year before that, but now people are literally starting to catch on with appointment setting. They're asking like, oh, is this a setter? Is this a VA? Are you sure this is actually you? Referring to the business owner. So the ones who are at the top 10%, they really just know how to let the conversation flow while keeping it focused and down the straight line into booking them in a meeting. As opposed to people who rely on a script, they sound like a VA, and it's not gonna work, okay? So that's the third thing. And then the fourth thing, let's say is that 4? So land a position, work hard, don't sound scripted. And the fourth thing, there we go. The fourth thing now is building a personal brand. So building a personal brand, this has, as I said in one of my last videos, this has massive upside. It's like a Pascal's wager. So if you don't know what a Pascal's wager is, it's something where it's a infinite upside with zero downside. The downside being, if you're too scared to document the journey and talk on camera, then I guess it's a downside, but it really isn't, because you have to grow a pair of balls and just start posting. Fuck what people think, right? But building a personal brand opens you to, as I said in one of my last videos, it opens you to so many opportunities. It opens you to, it puts your foot in the door, it gets you in front of new people, potentially new clients, new connections you can make, other business owners. It gets you in rooms that if you didn't build a personal brand that you wouldn't be able to. It garners you more respect, more authority, and you're also helping a ton of people out. You're giving value to the market, which is like the first base principle in business. The more value you give, the more you get. So the more value you're giving through your content, even if you're just documenting the journey, you're not a complete expert yet in what you do, but you're just sharing your insights and you're sharing your day-to-day, and being consistent with it too. That's another thing. Be consistent with it. Don't fall off like how I have been. I'm gonna come clean. I've fallen off a couple times with the YouTube, so yeah, let's fix that moving forward. So a bit of self-awareness there, but anyway, be consistent with it, and no matter what type of value you put out or content, even if it's shitty to begin with, like it's fine. You're gonna be shitty to begin with, but just keep pushing. You're gonna find your style. You're gonna find what works for you best, and then you just have to keep pushing it out there. Because even if it reaches that one person who needs to hear what you need to say, then that's all the difference in the world. You've provided value in the market, and that's gonna come back to you via karma, however you want to call it, or just an equal exchange or reciprocity. Okay, so start sharing if you're not. Tell stories, tell new insights, document your day to day. Don't worry about it being perfect or perfectly written, or if you're gonna do YouTube, perfectly filmed. Like look back on my old videos, they're not perfectly filmed at all, right? So start a personal brand. That's gonna just put you ahead of, is it gonna give you so many more opportunities? It's gonna put you ahead of the average person, especially if you really start seeing growth with this and people really see you're genuine and authentic and they really catch on to what you're doing, to the mission. Then your account's gonna start growing. You're gonna be open to more opportunities. And then that's just gonna be it's game over basically. You've now separated yourself from the 90% of other setters who all they do is appointment set and nothing else, right? They're not actually documenting their lessons, their journey, their life, etc. Not building the personal brand, nor are they doing the other 3 things that I've previously mentioned, okay? So build your personal brand, guys. Start now compared to later. Don't worry about it being perfect, okay? Had I not built this personal brand, who knows where I'd be today? I wouldn't have moved out my parents' house. I wouldn't be in Thailand. I wouldn't be in Philippines. I wouldn't have the connections that I've made today. I wouldn't be as good as on camera. I wouldn't be as good as appointment, stumbling words now. I wouldn't be as good with appointment setting, believe it or not. I wouldn't be as good at sales. I wouldn't have met the type of people that I met. I wouldn't have the conversations and the memories and the stories to tell had I not built my personal brand. So start now, don't wait for later. Put your first post up, whatever you need to do. Again, you go to change to change. If you've been getting the results, if you're not happy with the results that you're currently getting, it's because of your actions leading up to it now. So if you're not happy with the current actions that you're getting, the current results you're getting, you need to change your actions. So go to change to change, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Implement these 4 tips. And if you want to learn more about how to really stand out and become that top 10, top 5%, top 1% setter in 2023 moving forward, then I have links in the description where you can get the appointment setting e-guide, which is the price of brunch. And this video is the tip of the iceberg. The appointment setting e-guide, my whole purpose with that was to put everything that I've learned over these past 2 to 3 years of appointment setting and sales, a bit of sales as well, into that e-guide. So make sure you check it out, make sure you go cop it. And also, I have a free framework. It's the framework that I've been using these past 2 to 3 years. All revealed. It's called the Appointment Setting Manifesto. If you want to check that out as well, go download it, make a copy. Link is in the description too, okay? So, hope you enjoyed this video. Those are 4 things that you need to separate yourself from the competition of appointment setters. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Share this with a friend, and I'll see you in the next one.